Hi everybody, welcome to this episode of Nazo Circus. Today I have a guest and her name is Jenny Okafor. Jenny, I'll let you introduce yourself. And then we can tell them what we're discussing today.
Thank you so much. Naza, thank you so much. My name is Jenny Chika Okafor. I'm a very dear auntie of Naza. I am so proud of her. I'm a mother, I'm a solicitor, and a social justice campaigner. I love people. I believe in the equality of all men, and I believe that all rights should be equal. And I'm so delighted to be here today. I've been looking forward to this. Chinaza, thank you so much. This is long overdue.
Thank you for coming, Jenny. Thank you for coming. So this podcast thing, we've been talking about it.
Definitely.
And we are kindred spirits because we tend to think alike.
Yes.
About certain things,
exactly.
Most things.
Exactly.
And so, as family and childcare solicitors in the UK, we both have cases where we have people from our home country, Nigeria, who come here. And today we're going to be discussing the effect of the Japa syndrome on our children.
Yes.
So I did my research. Japa is a Yoruba word that means escape, break free. Somebody said it's like kind of a wilderness type of run when you like escape, like break through chains and run for your life. So that's what we know has been happening. Obviously, people, because of the situation in Nigeria, people have been leaving over a few years. They come here, they empty their bank accounts, come here with their children, spend all their money to get tickets and everything, maybe pay for accommodation for a few months, and then they get here and money runs out.
Exactly.
Okay. And so what I've found, and I'm sure you've had the same situation, and we'll exchange views, is that people come here with these children. The applicant parent is working. The other parent, who is a dependent, is home with the children, or is meant to be the caregiver.
Yes.
Full-time caregiver.
Yes.
While mom or dad goes to work or goes to school.
Yeah.
Okay. Money starts to get tight.
Exactly.
Right? They run out of money, and the dependent parent has to now go and start working, which they're allowed to do by law. So that's not illegal.
Exactly.
But the issue is, what happens to these children when you go out working?
Exactly.
And so that's what we found, or that's what I found. Recently, I've had a few cases from Nigeria, and social services get involved. And that's what we're discussing today.
Exactly.
What happens? The parents are a different issue, but our focus today is about these children when social services get involved. What's been your experience?
It's been quite numbing experience in the sense that we do the same thing, and I come across parents. When I come across parents, I realize that we get very defensive because we believe that we have the right to discipline our children and to make decisions. We are not aware that the system can come in and say, no, this is how it's done. And very often we are not prepared for what is going to happen. So we're all going to Queensland looking forward to living the life.
Greener pastures.
All the cars and everything, and we're not thinking about the challenges. And the major thing is that back home in Nigeria, we have house girls, we have drivers, we have aunties, we have family who can come in every now and then to help look after the children. And if we're going anywhere, you can send the children wherever you like. The children go outside and play. But in this country, it's you, myself, and I, and us inside a room. And our people are not used to that. And because money is tight, they've sold up everything. They want to be able to get here to make the money, begin to save money. And some people are owing people at home, so they need to save that money and send home.
Pay back.
But then when they come here, because in Nigeria you might owe NEPA, and then the NEPA guy turns up and he says, oh, why don't you come next week? Write off this bill. Here's £100. It doesn't work here. You have to pay it. So when they realize that this is the case, one single income is not enough.
Of course.
They're only doing care work, and they're quite new. They don't understand the system. So then there is pressure on the family If the husband and wife start falling out because husband is not bringing in home enough, or wife is not bringing money or enough money home, they want to go out and then make the money. But who looks after the children? And some people have resorted to stupid means, things that you and I will consider stupid because we understand the system. Things that could happen at home, because you can, tell us an 8-year-old child at home, don't open the door. You stay inside. Mom and dad will come back. If you open the door, I'll beat you up. I'll do this. And they will listen. But in this country, don't forget, these children are new as well. They don't understand anything. They don't know anything. When they open the window, they don't see people like you and I, because some of them walk very far away out of London. So what then happens is that parents think, okay, I can go and do 3 hours job.
Quick job.
Yeah, and daddy is doing this. So you leave the children at home and you go. A child might wake up and start crying. When that happens once or twice, neighbors will call the police. If they don't call the police, when the children go to school, maybe they're tired, they have not been eating very well, and then the school starts asking questions, and they tell them what's happening. Yeah. And we have this thing about praying. We pray over everything. And then some of these parents, because they do it at home, they engage their children in all these fasting and praying, and believing God that something great is going to happen, and then the situation will change and all of that. And these children go to school, they're sleeping as well, because either if they were not involved, mom and dad were making so much noise that they couldn't sleep. So things fall apart, social services get involved. And what I have realized is that because we are not used to anybody telling us how to look after our children, or anybody questioning us, when social services get involved, our men get very defensive and aggressive and start threatening them because they don't know that this happens.
I think the thing is, what I found is that, because even with us lawyers, I think that my most difficult clients are actually my people. Because it's this thing of them thinking that, first of all, who are you to tell me how to look after my children? And maybe some of them are even older than you. So they're thinking,
this child, who are you?
Who are you? Don't think you can tell me
You haven't
anything.
even had your own children, and you're coming here to tell me.
What are you even telling me? And another thing I found out, is, because my whole thing is the children. It's these children that end up in foster care. And the parents go crazy. Another thing I found out is that my people, bless them, this whole thing of Japa, let's just come to go to somewhere that's better.
I know.
Which I don't. Now, I'll be honest. Life back home is tough. So I get it. But if you're going somewhere,
you do
study the law. So let's talk about physical chastisement, because that's a big one.
That's a big one.
I know we're using legal or whatever. So beating. It's not physical beating.
When you say like me from the village, and you come and tell me physical chastisement, I'll say, which one is that one now?
Beating is another thing. My advice, I think, the only thing I want people to take away from this session is do your research. No one's saying don't come. We live here, so who are we to tell anybody not to come? But the thing is, when you're in Rome, you have to behave like the Romans.
Exactly.
So beating is a big one. It's not allowed. Beating is a big one. We're having a lot of this Nigerian children. And I'm saying Nigeria because I don't know about other I can only speak for Nigeria for now. And that's what this Japa thing is about Nigeria. So we're focusing on that. We're having so many Nigerian families, or so many Nigerian children being removed into foster care because of this beating situation. And this beating situation is because back home,
it's okay.
Back home, when you misbehave, and people like us who came here as adults, I wasn't born here. I came here as an adult, so I get it. I understand how things work, but we have to parent differently when we're here.
Doing Rome as the Romans do.
Yes. So what's your experience when you're trying to advise, when you get these clients and you're trying to advise them about this? What backlash? Because I want to call it backlash. Backlash do you get?
I normally, when I explain to clients, I say there is a conflict of cultures. And I also say that to social services and say, look, you guys need to work on the basis that you need to help these people to understand how things happen here. That children under the age of 16 and 18 belong to the state, and you have a duty to look after them. So this question of shouting, it is cultural to us. And even me as an adult, when I speak, I gesticulate, I shout, I scream. It's not because I'm
look
crazy.
Like the angry black woman. But
Exactly, but that's our culture.
And
we can't continue talking about a multicultural big society without trying to understand the people who are coming into our country. Of course, it's our duty as people who are going to a different country. You do in Rome as the Romans do. We need to understand our people don't understand that. And I think that the major issue is that everybody is concentrating on getting the visa and running away without doing their research. And I have come to the conclusion that the time may have actually come for us to set up Japa welfare group. The Japa welfare group is that immediately you come in, you tax yourself, go there for at least 2 weeks training on life in the UK.
Crash course.
You need to know about life in the UK because children are precious here. You don't mess around with them. You don't scream at children. At home, you and I could be talking and my son runs in and say, Mommy, I say, get out. Go away. Can't you see I'm talking to an adult? Don't come here. Or you can ask somebody to please take away this child. But if you do that in this country and the child goes to school and the situation comes up and they ask him, he will say what happens because they're innocent children. And one thing that is very common, we say to our children, why are you looking at me in my eyes? In this country, children are supposed to engage with you eyeball to eyeball.
Yes.
So when they go to school,
that's even being dishonest. Like, why are you looking away? You're supposed to be
exactly. You know. And then when they go to school and the teacher is talking to them and they're this way, the teacher immediately assume that there is a psychological issue. They bring in the authority, they start asking questions, and then from there, children tell their own side of the story. Because for the children, these are normal things. So when you tell them that it's not normal, they get confused. So there is a lot of training to be done. Parents need, like you said, you have to do your research before you come in here. And when you come in here, you need to find out about welfare groups. And I think that the people who sponsor these people to come over here also have a duty to tell them what happens. You know, at least do some leaflets and say this is what happens.
But they're not going to do that because they're not interested in that.
I know they're interested in the money.
Yeah, they're not interested in that. So they're not.
So maybe we should actually have a welfare group, Japa welfare group, so that when they arrive, whoever they're arriving to work for should give them a leaflet to say if you have any issues, contact them, they can tell you. And we have a free line, 0800 number, where people can call to say what's happening. I give you a typical example. A guy takes his children to school because wife is the one working. He's actually a medical doctor, but he hasn't done the
PLAB exams and whatever.
He wants to do the PLAB exam. So a very fulfilled, arrogant Igbo man. He carries his children in the morning. He turns up at school and he doesn't understand why the teachers are not running all over him. And you know, so when they tell him something, he reacts very directly. And they say that he's rude, he's aggressive. He doesn't like to be asked questions like they say, "Oh, why is the child wearing this? Not this is what we wear here." Oh no, that's how we dress them. And then they fall out. So on this particular occasion, something similar happened. And then the children were asked questions about certain things. They made what in this country we call disclosures. And they panicked, called the police, called everybody, called social services. By the time dad came to pick up the child, the children, because he takes them to school in the morning, she brings them back. So on her way, she came to pick them up. The police took the mom into custody and then went for the dad, took the children into care. And these poor children, they were petrified. And they were just here for about 3 weeks. They're trying to understand the language and the accent. And whatever is said to them, they just say yes. So everything the police said, because they saw Oyibo and they were frightened, they were nodding. And these people said, "Oh my God, they've killed them. They've done this, they've done this." I fought so hard to get them back, and they kept talking about the father being rude. I said, "Look, he's not being rude. That's who we are. You need to give these people time to settle, and then, you know, you can judge them. You can't just, you know, somebody is here for 2 weeks, and you're already trying to make sure that they have a lesson in life in the UK. So it may be that the Japa Welfare Project should deal with life in the UK.
I also think, Jenny, sorry to cut you, I also think that whatever support group is out there, there needs to be a signposting of these people to solicitors that understand their culture.
Yep.
It's as simple as that.
Yep.
You cannot. It's because it makes a very big difference.
Yes.
Because if you're talking to somebody, if you're talking to someone that does not understand your culture, to them you're a monster. Like you hit your child.
Yes.
As our people say, flogging.
Yes.
To them, you're the biggest monster. But to us, we understand that. It's because of the culture and it's not acceptable, but this is why they did it. And they actually think they're doing it out of love, actually.
Exactly. They're correcting the child so that the child doesn't get spoiled.
To them, it's even out of love.
Yeah.
So it's very important that
I think that's a very, very important point.
It makes a big difference in cases.
I think that there is need really to write to local authorities and say that we now understand that there is a prevalence of people coming from Africa as care workers. It has come to attention that they get into trouble because of lack of knowledge of the culture. And that being the case, we know that you have solicitors on your list, but it might actually help when there are interventions, you send them to solicitors of their own background.
Matched.
You culturally match them, because when you place children, you culturally match them.
So why don't you
do that with solicitors?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because if you do that, immediately you come in and take a child, you're of a different background, that's lack of trust. So that's why some of them, I have seen cases where they were told, you have free solicitor. They said, no, I'm going to represent myself.
And Jenny, do you know what I don't know about you? When I get clients that are Nigerian, I automatically, I revert to my original, I'll call it my original self.
Of course.
So my accent just automatically, without comes me back, even knowing, revert. If you're Igbo, I'm speaking Igbo to you, unless you tell me you don't want Igbo. Because you need these people, their kids have been removed, they're under pressure, they don't know the law, they're probably on police bail.
Yes.
That's a criminal, that's even different. They're on police bail, they're dealing with so many things. Yep. So they need somebody who understands
where they're coming from.
Another thing I was thinking about is this Japa thing, where these couples come here. Maybe mom is working and bringing home the bacon. So roles have switched, right? And the man starts to feel emasculated. Problems starting creeping up. Violence starts to rear its head. Next thing, the police are called. So this Japa thing, it affects, not only does it affect our children,
it affects the parents.
It affects the parents.
Yeah.
Because next thing, okay, people are fighting, you're shouting, your voice is as loud as our voices can be. The neighbors call the police come. Now again, your children are in foster care.
Yeah.
So also, it's just for me, awareness is key about this Japa thing. It's not about don't come. Awareness is key. You need to know the law about domestic abuse. It's unacceptable.
Domestic abuse and domestic violence, very, very
it's
key.
Unacceptable. And when I say that, I mean from man to woman, I mean from woman to man, because this is not this domestic abuse thing. It's not just one.
It's reversing.
It's reversing. And sometimes even the one that's making the money maybe may be the woman, and then she becomes abusive. I've had that.
Yeah, but you see, this is something I keep asking. Are these women becoming aggressive, controlling, and coercive? Because they have always not been happy in that relationship, but because they didn't have their own means, the financial freedom, they just had to behave the way the culture expects them to behave. And if that man had always been controlling and also abusive or beating the children, there will be a time as well that he comes into the UK, as you said, he feels emasculated, because when he's talking to his wife, she's no longer listening to him the way she used to. And that's not going to happen. So then violence comes on. So I think you are 100% right there. We need to begin to look at these issues. The issue of domestic violence. A lot of our men, even those ones who have been here for a very long time, still do not understand the full meaning or the simple meaning of abusive, coercive, controlling behavior. They would just say to you, what do you mean? I can't talk to my wife anymore. Who are you? And I
paid her bride price.
I paid her bride price. I have had a guy who was arrested by the police because he was even threatening the police for telling him that he was telling his wife.
Talk about lack of insight. That's the word. What
Exactly.
about, talk about lack of insight?
No. The lack of insight, I think it's purely on the basis of what we've been talking about. It is not our culture. It is not our tradition. When we have issues, we call our elders and tell them. We don't call the police. We don't call social services. And we do have the right to discipline our children. The worst that could happen, I remember when mine were little, one thing I did was, the street is never a safe place for anybody. So for me, you must be at home. And I remember my son saying to his auntie, you need to talk to mom, because the only safe place in this world is the home. And we need to go out. We're young people and everything. And I'll say, what do you mean? You stay here. In my own days, we didn't go outside and
so
everything.
You be in the, yeah.
But we need to know that at that age, at 16 and the rest of them, they need to go out and explore the world.
Yeah.
So these are the sort of things that happen. But he went and told his auntie, and auntie called me to a meeting. But in this country, they will report you to the authorities.
Straight away.
Because
straight away. That's the route it goes.
Yep.
And what really baffles me is that when these children are initially taken, and you're talking to the parents, they're angry. You're the enemy. You don't understand. But then when the reality hits and they see that these children are in foster care, you're seeing your children in the contact center, they're coming up looking filthy and unkempt, the teeth not brushed, hair, then that's when it starts to hit home. So I think that we need to nip it in the bud, as they say. And
so that it doesn't happen.
Start to educate people. So something has to happen, because otherwise we're going to just continue seeing more and more cases. Another thing I wanted us to discuss before we kind of wrap up is, when these cases get to court and the Nigerian High Commission is invited to intervene, Nigerian High Commission, you need to, if you're watching, you need to do better.
I know. I had a big case many years ago, and the Nigerian High Commission was invited to join. They were joined. So the question was, okay, if we join and we become a party to the proceedings, what about our immunity? What about this? What sort of welfare support can we give? And a lot of things happen. And trying to explain to them that you need not worry, because these people have legal aid. They are legally aided, in the sense that legal aid will pay their costs. You look after yourself.
Okay, so let me stop you there. So Nigerian High Commission, even they responded.
Oh yeah.
They came on board.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, you have a better experience than
that. Oh yeah, they did. I mean, that particular one, I to tell you the truth, before then I wasn't doing family law, I was doing purely property. So that was a big surprise for me. And I was running around getting people involved and saying, please come on board, we need to deal with this. I went to the High Commission, I called everybody and all of that. So they were quite keen, they came on board. But the problem is that, as far as they're concerned, they have immunity, and they should, once you join them, you should give them the right to take these children, bring them to the High Commission, they will sort it out. They didn't quite understand.
It doesn't
work that way.
For me, I think that it's very important, and I'm hoping that this podcast, as hopefully it circulates, the Nigerian High Commission, in my opinion, they need to do better.
Oh yeah.
Because I've had so many cases where, and it's actually embarrassing, so many cases where letters are being written to them to say, Nigerian nationals, we have Nigerian nationals, these children are in foster care, you're invited to attend.
Oh no, they wouldn't even bother.
No response.
No, but have you realized yourself that when you write to the mission for something, most times you don't even get a reply?
No response. I
resorted to writing to them by recorded delivery, and then I'll call and say, look, I have checked. My recorded delivery was picked up on XYZ.
And signed
that's even when you're lucky for someone to pick up the phone, because it's quite good for them to put up their phone number there, but no one answers. So what you do is write a letter, give it to the parents to go to the mission. Or if they are invited and you have that letter of invitation, you do a crazy SOS letter direct to the mission and say, parents, you go there, make sure you hand it over to the High Commission.
I feel like I haven't had much luck. I think I've only had them once. The other times they will respond, we confirm receipt of your letter,
and that's it.
Okay, but are you coming to court? Like because it helps your nationals if they're in court and the professionals see that, okay, the Nigerian High Commission, they're here. They may be able to help us if we need any things from back home. So we just need to do better. We need to do better.
Yeah, I had a case from an African sort of embassy. They were fantastic.
Yeah.
It was an abduction case. One of the nationals was accused of abduction. And I'm telling you, these people, they brought in the biggest city solicitors. Everybody was jumping in. The High Commissioner
trying to protect their citizens.
Everything they were fighting and all of that. But with the Nigerian High Commission, you just have to pray. I think what it is, we need to have proper engagement with the Nigerian High Commission. BNLF need to do more by trying to have maybe once in every 4 months to have a meeting with the High Commission, update them on what we do, because it might help them. I think it's lack of knowledge as well, and there are so many things.
But even if it's lack of knowledge, not even showing up, you're not going to get the knowledge if you're not sure. If you don't even show up to understand. We need to help them to understand so that they can learn to show up. Okay, so that one is we're packing down. That's a different.
I know.
So rounding up.
Yes.
Right on this Japa thing.
Yes.
My whole point of doing this topic is just kind of to educate parents. If you're coming here, it's not just about you coming here. It's not just about having 1 month's rent. You need to be prepared, do your research, have enough money, have 6 months rent or even 3 months rent if you can scratch up 3 months rent. Do all that. Make sure that you arrange your life so that if both of you are working, you have to work together.
I know.
And egos have to be put aside until people stabilize. Because we're having more children in foster care and we may not always be able to get them back.
And Chinazo, something I need to add as well, people are more likely to go to their pastors than they are likely to come to us.
Absolutely.
The first thing a Nigerian does when they get to this country is to find their own church. So when they find their own church, they go to their pastor. And some of the pastors mislead them. I confronted a pastor and said, look, this is so wrong. When something happens, you need to tell your own solicitors. But what he was trying to do was try to get me to come to his church and be a member so that he can refer cases to me. I said, no, it should be the children first.
Yeah.
So whenever that happens, look around for your own people who practice in those areas and say, look, something has just come up. Can you help us? Don't try and help these people to hide it. One of the pastors actually went to court to represent one of the clients. And when I found it, I thought, oh, gee, what's going on here, Oga? Are you sure?
And the thing is, nobody is even, the pastor's role is different from the lawyer's role.
Yeah.
You people have different roles. But just know that you don't know the law. You didn't study law.
No,
you know God and the way to heaven.
No,
but
the
you
Lord
didn't
will
study.
minister to him.
Yeah, you didn't study law, and children are being
taken away.
These children, by the time they come back to you, if they come back to you, they're traumatized. The parents go crazy because their children are not the children they left when they went to work. So it's a pandemic. I think it's I'm going to call it a pandemic. That's what I'm going to round up. It's a pandemic, and we all need to do better.
Yeah. And from me personally, from the perspective of a child who was separated from her parents when I was little, that is quite big. So I think that the aim should be, don't let it happen at all.
That's what I'm saying.
If you don't understand, ask questions. We're here. We're here to help you. You can see Naza's Sekas. You can find, contact her through the internet and other solicitors.
Or contact you, Jenny Okafor.
Or contact
Go on
me.
the Law Society's website.
Exactly.
It's easy
We
to
are
find
on the
us.
Law Society website.
Yeah.
There are so many Nigerian welfare groups.
Yes.
There is Kanuk. Go and ask about Kanuk. Ask about Nido. Somebody will do referral. They all have welfare groups. Don't do it alone.
Yeah.
You're new here. You can't succeed without knowing what is happening.
You can't.
Yeah.
Well, Jenny, it's been lovely having you.
Thank you.
And we're going to have many more. Many more sessions.
Exactly.
Where we will be dissecting these issues that affect our community.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks
guys.
for the invitation.
You're very welcome. It's lovely to have you. Okay, guys. So we're rounding up this session of episodes of Nazo Circus. Look forward to the next episode. Follow me on all social media platforms. Share, like, subscribe. Send me private messages. Put comments. If there are things you want us to talk about, I'm going to have Jenny here a lot. Send your messages, and then we can try and just dissect these issues. Yeah, there's no need to do this alone.
There are no boundaries. We're happy to discuss anything.
Yes. And so that's it. It's a wrap. See you all soon.